the IG, Japheth Koome, talked about attacking their own security, the security personnel of this country.
It's expected when the police be the first to spray this itchy water on people. People will generally respond with violence. If that vehicle, if the tear gas, if what you're witnessing is not happening, like the earlier scenes, people just drive through and nobody will attack the police. They will be there standing, providing security to our premises, to people working. In fact, you don't need to close your shop because you know there are armed officers next to you. But once you provide an environment where violence will arise, then you harden those people. You harden the demonstrators. Now, of course, in between, not everybody is a good person. You will have thugs who are part of the crowd. They will take advantage and start looting, start doing other illegalities. And this could be avoided if we do not see this kind of trucks with the kind of water for people who are exercising their constitutional right to demonstrate, to picket, to express themselves, to present petitions in whichever manner in which they do it to the executive, to the government, to their government. Everybody who is in office holds the trust of the people. And the people have passed a constitution and agreed that one of the ways as a public they can be able to express themselves is through raising concerns. And Brenda, perhaps it's important I mention that picketing is very important in any civilized democracy because it gives civilians a right to express themselves when parliament will have failed, just like this one is likely to fail, when the judiciary will have failed. I haven't said it's
But Anyoka, why are you saying that it's just like this government?
It's likely to fail.
Why?
I'll give you the reasons. First of all, you realized that President Ruto has been doing serious politics. And half of what should have been Azimio, they already crossed over and pledged working with Ruto. Now, whereas that is their right, the question is, how effective can they be able to check the same government they're already pledging support to? From the onset. That, for me, is the first indicator that this parliament will not deliver.
All right.
Most likely, they're going to fail for the simple reason that they have now, many of them, realigned themselves with the government that is. It tells you that politics in Kenya is not about ideologies. You were in Azimio, but you don't believe in the Azimio ideologies. As soon as you cross the line and you are elected into office, you quickly want to find out who is the president, how do I work with this person. It's not about ideas. I would have expected the elected leaders, let the Azimio, check the Kenya Kwanza, brigade. Let the Kenya Kwanza push the agenda based on their manifesto, this bottom-up approach. Let's see how they execute it. Let the other team challenge it. But as soon as people are elected, they walk to State House, take coffee, and tell the president, we are pledged to work with you. What did you believe in the first place when you went to UDA? You should have simply gone to UDA from the beginning. All
right. And Agwanda, I mean, for the IG Koome just to come out over the weekend and say the planned demos is illegal despite the issuance of notice that the team Azimio gave to the government. I mean, when I'm talking about the government, is the right office, the security forces, the right office where they're supposed to issue their notice of planning to have demonstrations on Monday and Thursdays, 9 days earlier to the day of demonstrations. Why do you think the IG would come out and say this is illegal?
My brother here said he didn't know which constitution the IG read for him to make that statement. But I remember on Sunday, and that is yesterday, him addressing the nation, and he said very clearly that he does not know why politicians are on the street because they are asking for the server. He doesn't even know where the server is.
Actually, he said the servers, if I may quote him rightly, he said the servers are not the streets.
The street, yeah. But you see, and then he made a statement that I thought was very, very important. He said political problems can be resolved with, in a political way, or something to that sort, as I quote. Remember that not everything can be resolved in a country within the eye of the Constitution. And if it's a political problem, this seems to be a political problem. And in this country, we have the government and the opposition that is recognized in the Constitution. And so the opposition seem to be doing what they're supposed to do, and that is to rebuttal what the government is doing, and through the people for that reason. And so the best way that the government can actually come and force and reason with wananchi is say, you're talking about sufurias, this is what we put in place, and we want you guys to understand that we'll be doing this. You're talking about the fuel prices, this is what we put in place, and we want you to do this. But
then, Agwanda, allow me to cut you short. That seems to be the unifying factor between Team Azimio and the common wananchi, who are feeling this effect of the high cost of living. And that is why we are seeing, you know, most of the time when Raila Odinga is coming out to talk to his supporters, he starts with gharama ya maisha iende chini, karo ya shule iende chini, and then now bringing these other political issues towards the end tail of his speech.
Well, you know,
like the servers.
As a government, you're still called upon, because you've been elected by the people to serve their interests. You're still called upon to be answerable to the questions that the citizens think that need to be answered. The era of secrecy in every operation of the government ended by with 2010 constitution, that every leader is put accountable, and that is why you find EACC getting into people who worked in government in very, very key positions and hounding them into their office and saying, you stole the money. Well, when they were selling the money, they were not, it was not disclosed, it was in the not in the public domain, but EACC will still find you somewhere. KRA will still find you somewhere for that reason and say, look, you evaded paying taxes, and for that reason, look, that means that there's no secret you can have in this government. You can have operational secrets or issues that you do not want the public to know today, but tomorrow it will be known for that reason. I mean, and so what I am saying is very clear. If they're asking about the server and all these other things, as people have said, the best way to do it is to have a government that responds to those issues. Because if you don't, it just aggrieves people more and more. And if you don't, you're compounding issues into the country. And let me tell you, I remember very clearly in 2012, I think, if I'm not wrong, no, in 2002, President Mwai Kibaki came into government with the biggest support that we've not seen in many, many years. After 5 years, he was not able to be elected. And in fact, if it were not because of the collision, the mediation that Kofi Annan did, this country was going under. And so let's be very clear that if you don't answer certain questions that are being asked by the people, people are not fools, and they're watching you. So, and you'll have to answer it on the ballot paper, on the ballot box in the next few years.
All right. So, Anyoka, why do you think it's hard for this government to actually address, handle some of these issues that seem to be the common factor between the Azimio leaders and Kenyans? Because, I mean, Monday demonstrations happened. The following day, what we're seeing on the papers is over 800 million being channeled towards buying vehicles of 3 officers, you know, our senior leaders in this country. And Kenyans are asking, where is the priority? Then again, now the cost of fuel is up. The cost of electricity is up. Why do you think it's taking this government so long to address this issue that Azimio team seems to be having, you know, seems to be talking on the same language with Kenyans?
I think President Ruto has built a team around him that is not very useful. To the extent that I don't think they are able, or if they are advising him, they are